So today is the last day that you can join the Caribbean Strategic Boardroom. And I'm going to show you exactly what we are going to do in that boardroom. It's an 8-week experience, and today is the last day. So join me if you want to join that Caribbean Strategic Boardroom. Okay, welcome back to the show. Thank you for being here. And my name is Ronnie Calmera. And as you know, you can join the Caribbean Strategic Boardroom by just going to www.calmera.net/Caribbean-strategic-board-room. It's a unique experience where you will be sitting with me and maybe 100 other people, and we will be discussing the situation of the Caribbean. We will be creating policies, strategic policies towards 2030 for the Caribbean to get the Caribbean structurally at a higher level of economic development, of social economic development, of clean economic development. And we will be using data, all the data. We will turn that data into information and analysis, and we will be creating also policies. We will be simulating the economies of the Caribbean, and we will be sharing a community of practitioners, of economists, of people who are interested in the development of the Caribbean. And it's just not only talking about the Caribbean, but actually doing the work. This is not a course. This is an experience where we will be working together in a community of practitioners for the next 8 weeks. And I will be there. I will be joining you every day. On a weekly basis, we will be meeting and we will be creating. And today I will show you something because I have received some questions and I want to answer those questions. But first, let me give you just one snapshot of what the topic is about. Okay, what the topic is about, what will be what you will be doing during those 8 weeks. What is the program about? So this is the blackboard, but let me show you my screen right now. Okay, this is my screen, and let me start the presentation. So it's the doors will close today. Now, once the door closes, it will mean that I have given you the opportunity as my community member, as people watching, as a person watching these episodes for some time. I've given you the opportunity to grab one of the first, to be one of the first to grab one of the 100 seats. Okay, there are only 100 seats, and it's not a massive thing because I will be giving a lot of dedication, a lot of attention to you. I will be accessible, like I said in a previous episode. You can call me. You can actually call me during the 8 weeks. I will give you my telephone number. So in these times, we need to hold each other accountable and we need to help each other. So the doors close today. Let me tell you what is inside. So it's about 8 islands in the Caribbean. If you're living on one of these islands, or if you are interested, you are maybe living in the United States, in Europe, anywhere, but you want to study one of these islands and you want to create economic policy, social economic policy. You want to understand the history, the economic history, the trends. You want to analyze the trends that are affecting these islands. Then you can join. Okay, we will be focusing on these islands because I have created a macroeconomic framework for all these islands. So I'm not going to talk specifically about Barbados, about Trinidad and Tobago, about Jamaica, because I don't have those models yet. But if you are in Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, Aruba, and you want to join, but you want to understand how an economic model works, etc., then you can still join. Okay, but we will be focusing on these islands. and also the island of Curacao, where I live, where I send these Policy in Paradise production show for you every week, 3 times a week since January this year, and I will continue doing that. But this is going deeper. This is not only sharing this information for you, but we will actually be doing the work, and I will give you my macroeconomic models. I've never done that before. One of those macroeconomic models costs 3 months to create. 3 months if you are very, very experienced as a senior economist. I don't know anybody, only one person who can create, one other person than me who can create those macroeconomic models. I received a lot of training from that person. That's my mentor, but nobody else can create this spreadsheet models like this. Yes, they can create complex economic models that nobody understands, but an open economic model where you can see everything, where you can see the data, where you can discuss, that's another topic, and that's what we have created. One of the islands, and I'm going to show you today exactly what we're going to do. Okay, so these are the islands, and we're going to check what has happened in the past with the economic dashboards of these islands. We're going to check what is happening right now, and we're going to check what can be done for improving the future till 2030. Imagine that. Or if you are living on one of these islands, or you want to help one of these islands, and you don't have the data, you don't have the information, and you think, okay, the COVID-19 has affected these islands, the exports are going down, the imports, maybe there are problems, you are fearful about what is going to happen with the oil price, maybe the food prices are going up, jobs are being lost, maybe the government has a huge deficit, and also the debt is increasing. Maybe you think that Fitch and Moody's, those rating companies, are going to downgrade the bonds of your government. Maybe also you want to know what is going to happen with the Eastern Caribbean region as a whole, because what we're going to do is we're going to add a Eastern Caribbean macro model. That's my bonus today. My bonus is not only those islands, but we're going to create, like I said, a Chinese macroeconomic model, and in those 8 weeks we are also going to create an Eastern Caribbean economic model, adding all those islands together. Those are 2 bonuses which really you want to know how you want to be in. You want to be in that dashboard, because in the future versions of this boardroom, you want to be in the boardroom, because in the future versions, I don't know when, of the Caribbean Strategic Boardroom, you're not going to see me doing that. You cannot ask me questions while I'm doing that, while I'm creating that before your eyes. Creating a macroeconomic model for the Eastern Caribbean before your eyes. I'm going to show you my tricks. But it is not only about the macroeconomic model of creating it. You have to understand how I created it, so that you can break it down and maybe create something else, improve it. But there is more. Look at this. This is the Caribbean Strategic Boardroom. I have thought, okay, it can close after 5 o'clock, like I said the day before, like I said last time. But I'm going to say, I said I want this to be open for as many people as possible. So until tonight, 23:59, you can still get in. And after that, doors close, and then this is going to open again for the whole world. And then those seats, the seats left, will be gone very quickly. So because you are a member of my community, I extend the doors. I keep the doors a little bit open for you, for the people still on the fence. And maybe you're on the fence for a special reason. But let me tell you, this is a unique opportunity. So what is it? 8-week program starting Monday, 4th of May, 2020, ending 28th of June. It's a program. We meet on a weekly basis, 2 hours. I share my screen. I share I enter the Caribbean Strategic board meeting. You are there, and it's done. You can see all what I've been doing. You can talk to me. It's not only listening to me, but you can talk to me and you can ask me questions right away. So it's for high performance leaders who want to rank themselves as transformers of the Caribbean region. If you are passionate about the Caribbean region, then you are a potential candidate. You want to turn data into analysis, simulate the current economic situation, the economic challenges, and design policies and paper. And wait, at the end of this presentation, I'm going to show you exactly something I'm working on right now so that you can know. This is turning it into an analysis, but it is also creating a policy paper, a strategic policy paper for your islands, for your stakeholders, for your boss, for your ministers, for your permanent secretaries. That is what it is about. It's not only about the current information that we want to lift the Caribbean islands out of the current corona pandemic, but it is beyond that. How can we transform the Caribbean economies so that they can bring more well-being, more wealth, a better life, more income, higher income for their people? That's what we are talking about. So we want to design policies, we want to analyze data, past, current, future, and we want to analyze trends, and we want to put that into paper, and we want to put that on papers, and we want to present them to each other. We want to review them from each other. So you could be from St. Lucia reviewing a paper from somebody from Grenada, because when you see another island economy, you will learn. You can be from Dominica, and you can be reviewing a paper from Curacao, because then you will learn. The Curacao economy is more diversified than Dominica. We have refinery, we have international financial services, and we have tourism. So you will learn. So we are a group of people in the Caribbean Strategic Boardroom meeting. We're meeting, and it is a secure environment. You can make mistakes in there, because I will not tolerate any mistakes. What you will be doing is only, it can be a lesson or it can be a result. So mistakes, we don't think in terms of mistakes. We think in terms of what are the lessons that we can learn and what are the results that we can get. So I'm looking for positive people, very positive people. You will get a community of top 100 leaders in the Caribbean, top 100 because those are the high achievers. They have invested in this, they want to learn. Weekly sessions of 2 hours analyzing the Caribbean, economists discussing key challenges and writing policy papers and presenting the papers to the group. 9 macroeconomic modeling frameworks of 9 islands, all the 8 Eastern Caribbean islands plus Curacao. Now, let me tell you, that only, without the experience, is more than the $997. Imagine for $997 getting 9 macroeconomic modeling frameworks. Imagine that. That means that for $100, you will get 1 macroeconomic modeling framework. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy that I'm doing this, because for only one of those macroeconomic models, it's like 3 months of work, and I have trained people in an island on the Caribbean, in more islands on the Caribbean, but this specific project was during 2 years, and I went there every month, 1 week, and that project was more than $300,000, more than $300,000 for assisting them to create a macroeconomic model step by step and training those people. You will get the streamlined, improved version, 8 weeks. You will get a macro model, and it's only $100 per macro model. I mean, that's crazy. If you don't see the value, then I cannot convince you. But if you see the value, then you need to join, because apart from those macroeconomic models, we will be using them. Somebody's asking, what is my experience with macroeconomic modeling? I have 24 years of macroeconomic modeling experience working with databases. Recently, during I think the last 6 months, I've been working with Python, with coding, more data, and we will be I'm thinking about a extra bonus for the people who join, where I will be showing them how to automate their economic analysis with Python, with data science, etc. That's my experience. My experience is also I worked with databases with many data, with databases of millions of data points. I have created a socioeconomic database for Curacao with all the for about 260 variables in it. I've created those macroeconomic models. I've been coaching and training people in these settings. Also, people who don't know anything about macro models, I've been given 500 people. During 4 years, I've given 500 people intense workshops on macroeconomic model. Labor unions, policy advisors, investors, ministers, permanent secretaries, head of policy departments, all those people were participating in those sessions in the past, and I was walking them through scenarios step by step, discussing with them. That's the tool. This is not a tool only for policy advisors, but if you are a policy advisor and you want to discuss with a labor union, you want to give your boss, maybe you are working at a bank or policy department of a pension fund, or a Ministry of Finance, or a Ministry of Economic Affairs, Ministry of Tourism. Maybe you are part of the labor union. You want to understand your economy. Then you need to join the Caribbean Strategic Boardroom. If you are sitting in a boardroom right now, if you think you are high achiever, you are the challenging, the next leaders, or you are the existing leaders and you want to up your game to the next level, then this is for you. It's a closed community, closed private community, and in that I will be joining every day to answer your questions, etc. Or my team will be also joining. And it is a community we are building, so it's not only the weekly meetings, but there will be a closed community. There will be data, simulation, and framework. Everybody will get their data, simulation, and framework. There will be tasks to do in between the weeks. So I understand you're sitting at home, maybe you have a lot of work, but this work, you can actually do that for your island right now. So the moment we start, you will be able to use the economic model and you will be speeding up your knowledge. You can use this model right away in your current situation. You can use that right away. You can benchmark other islands in the Caribbean, in the Eastern Caribbean, right away. So, I already talked about the bonus. Who can join? I'm looking for people with economic background or can demonstrate that they have mastered economic concepts for the Caribbean, for a small island. We will be focusing on small island economies. And the small island economies are a special breed. Because people think, one question I've received, Rooney, there is no data in the Caribbean. There is a lack of data. I mean, that is what people outside the Caribbean Strategic Dashboard think. But when we go inside, I will show you the variables. I will show you exactly the 54 variables that you need to have for each island. And then I will show you how I gather them. I will show you where I gather them. So after the workshop, after the sessions, after this program, you can update them yourself. You understand? So I expect you next year that you have a better version of your analytical framework, and I expect you that you have mastered it and that you have updated yourself. That's the goal of this program. So you're a policy advisor, an investor, economic practitioner. So you are working in a policy department. Maybe you are also in the Ministry of Economic Development, Statistical Office, bank in the Caribbean. Maybe you are an investor. You are an enterprise. You have an enterprise and you want to understand the whole economy. This is your chance. So you are open for learning and you want to move to the next level in your career or in your business, or you want to move your portfolio of investments in the next to the next level. I'm an investor myself. I know a lot of financial stocks, etc. And let me tell you, the last year I have invested a lot of my knowledge in the capital markets, in the global capital markets, what is happening outside. And when you join the Caribbean Strategic Boardroom, I will be telling you exactly what is going to happen, what I expect to happen with the global markets, etc. This depression is not something like a recession, like it's shown something temporary. It's going to be big. It is big. It is going to take a long time, and I'm going to tell you when you join the Caribbean Strategic Boardroom, I will tell you how you can survive. That's basically what it is. It is for secret. That's why you have to join. So you are open for learning and moving to the next level. You are committed to do the work, gain experience, and transform the Caribbean economy. If you are passionate about that, these are the islands. I want to welcome all those people on all those islands. 10 people of all those islands that can actually join. Okay? Only 100 seats. Offer ends Friday. Now, I have extended this offer. It will end at before 12 o'clock tonight. And then I will launch this program globally. Now, believe me, future editions of this program, 4997. Why is that? Because you will help me improve the program, etc. And then the 997 is discounted, is less than 1/5 of the price what it's going to be. You have to go to calmera.net/Caribbean Strategic Boardroom, and that's it. That's where you will find everything. Now, I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to give you an example of what I'm working on right now, and that example is a strategic policy note. And why do I want to give you that example? I want to give you that example so that you know that this is a program where we will be working. The concrete things that you will end up is a strategic policy note for your island, and you will have a strategic policy note including the other islands. and you will end up with a presentation for during the board meeting. The presentation will be done in Caribbean Strategic Boardroom, and you can use that presentation for your own island. Okay, so we are working concretely on a strategic policy note, on presentations, etc. Every week we have a theme, but I will leave that theme a little bit open for the people to join. But I have a step-by-step outline of all those weeks. But I leave it a little bit open because I want you to ask questions every week, and then I will give base my weekly meeting a little bit on the questions asked. So if people want to know more about the monetary sector, we join monetary sector. If people want to know more about what's happening in China and how China affects the Caribbean, we want to dive into there. So depending on the topic, that's why it is a unique experience. So now let me show you a policy that I'm working on right now. So imagine this. This is a policy note, and the policy note, I've just put that name. This is a real policy note that I'm working on. But imagine you have a policy note where you say, fill your island name here. Fill your island name here. And then in that policy note, if you have any question, just ask. In that policy note, you are talking about some things. So one of the challenges that most policy advisors have is they want to achieve an unemployment rate of less than 5%. Because then the 5% is a natural unemployment rate. Some islands have like 0, but let's put it 5%. So that's one of the goals. The next goal is you want to have less than 3% fiscal deficit for the GDP. Then the next goal is less than 60% of GDP in debt. Your debt ratio, debt divided by GDP, gross domestic product, is less than 60%. That's the target. If you have higher than that target, for instance, for Aruba right now, you have a problem because Moody's will downgrade you, Fitch will downgrade you, and when you join the Caribbean Strategic Boardroom, we will discuss about what are the effects, the indirect effects of that. So the current account deficit less than minus 5%. Because that will help you with the stability of your currency. Islands in the Caribbean like Grenada, Curacao, Aruba, when you create a lot of debt, when you have a high deficit on the current account, like right now, that can lead to unstable peg of your currency. And if you look at Venezuela, you will see what can happen. What can happen with the inflation, etc. Those things we can also simulate in the Caribbean Strategic Boardroom. Okay? So, you want the months of import coverage, 3 months. So, how many dollars do you have? How many foreign reserves do you have? More than 3 months. Because in a small island economy, you need to have that to survive, to keep the well-being of your people. Purchasing power higher than 2%. Now, let me show you. Imagine you want all those targets together. It is very difficult. Towards 2030, imagine you have your island, you want to reach all those targets. Everything you want to be in the green. It is very difficult to do that. Now, I know how to do it. And I'm going to show you the results here. And I'm not going to tell you how it is done, but I'm going to show you an example here. Look at that. Here you see that GDP is higher than 5%. Because the brown line here, is what it was. That's the baseline. We will be discussing the baselines of all those Caribbean islands. What's the baseline, and what is where is the economy going? Where is the GDP going if nothing happens? Significantly happens. And here you see for this island, it's already boom. We already have incorporated that here, the corona crisis. You see that? It's going down. But later on, look at what is happening. This island can move above the 5% target. That's the green line. So that's what we will be discussing. How can this island move there? What is needed? What is the policy needed? What needs to grow? Is it exports? Is it imports? Is it investments? Is it what needs to grow? Do you need to cut government expenses, increase government investments, renewable energy? What is that? So here you see that target is reached. So check GDP. Now unemployment. Here you see behind me there that island has reached an unemployment rate below 5%, like I said, below 5%. Yeah? It has reached it around, let's say, 2028. So the policy scenario is before it was brown, and now with the policy scenario, look at what is going to happen with the unemployment. Unemployment is going down the drain. That's what we want. So this policy has achieved that target. These kind of things we are going. So I'm showing you, it's like 78 pages. You see 78 pages, a policy paper, big extensive research that I'm doing, and you already see that it is not going to talk only about the model, etc. We are actually using the macro model. We are using the macro models for these things. So look at that. Fiscal deficit, you want below the 3%. Below the 3%. Okay? Below the 3%. So here you see, boom, we're going below the 3%. At around, let me say, where in 2022 we hit that target, 2022, and 2021 not. So it is not possible to do these kinds of analysis on the back of a piece of paper. It is not possible to do that with a lot of spreadsheets where you just want to do some simulation. It is not possible if you are sitting at a central bank with all kinds of data, all kinds of spreadsheets, to do that simulation, because these macroeconomic models are circular. When you do X, this will happen. When you do that, this will have effect on A, on B, on C, and C will have effect on A back. So you cannot process this information with your mind. This is the helicopter view. This is advanced stuff, and you will be able to do that in the Caribbean Strategic Boardroom. There are a couple of hours remaining. You need to join. If you don't want to join, that's okay. But if you want to up your game, this is the moment to join. So, debt. We said 60%. Look at this. It was going through the roof. 60% in 2020. Look at what is going. The policy created, boom, going. This is due to Corona. This is due to Corona because the government spends money, etc. Now, this was the baseline. The brown one is the baseline without the Corona crisis. Look at what the debt is doing. The current account, we said we want it to be lower than -5% because that is good for the stability of the economy. Look at this. The baseline was like 15%, -50%. Like this is in trouble. With the package, with the policy, look at this. With the Corona, look at where the island is. With the policy, look at where it's going. Above -%, so check Also this target. Import coverage, higher than 3 months. Look at this. The baseline was going through the 3%, brown line going. You know exactly when it would have happened. It would have happened around, let me see, 2028. And now, I'm not going to tell you which island this is. Not going to tell you. But this is the scenario. Are you curious about the policies that is needed? GDP per capita. Look at this. GDP per capita. GDP per capita. Look at this. GDP per capita going up. So also GDP is going up. The purchasing power. Look at this. Purchasing power means higher than 2%. Below this brown line was the baseline. Look at the policy that we have created and what it has happened. The purchasing power went up significantly, so the labor unions are higher. So if you are in the labor union sector, you want to understand this. If you are an economist in the labor union, because you want to understand this, how can we increase the purchasing power while we also decrease unemployment, while we help the fiscal sector? Those are the people on the Ministry of Finance. We help the budget deficit and the debt, and the people in the central banks. They want the current account deficit to be low, and they also want the month coverage to be high. So all those parties working together. Imagine sitting in the Caribbean Strategic Boardroom, all those different views together, and we want to solve this for St. Lucia, for Dominica, for Antigua Barbuda, for Anguilla, for Curacao, for Grenada, for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, for St. Kitts and Nevis. Huh? We want to share all these views. Imagine playing in the Caribbean Strategic Boardroom where we say, okay, we play the devil advocates, and we think, what is going to happen with the labor union? If the labor union look at the package that you have presented, what is going to happen if the Ministry of Finance wants to look at your package? What if an investor wants to invest in your country and looks at your package? You see, that's going to happen in the Caribbean Strategic Boardroom. So I am going to show you the last thing that I want to share, which is that I actually want you to join. The future price is $4,997. You can join by going to kalmera.net/Caribbean Strategic Boardroom, Caribbean-Strategic-Boardroom. There are a couple of hours left because then the doors were closed. But I've put, because of some questions, I have put some things. Before I go to that, that's going to really help you think about investing in this program, I will answer a couple of questions that we received. What will we be doing? I already told you what we will be doing on a weekly basis, working on a paper, strategic presentation, discussing to improve the quality of life, to transform the Caribbean, the lives of the Caribbean enterprises and the people. What if I miss a week? If you miss a week, there will be a recording. So I understand those are very busy people, but if you cannot make it during a weekly session, there will be a recording in your, you will be able to join that. Will you help me? I already said yes. This is not a program like a course or whatever. I will be there for all those 100 people. I will be there, and you can call me. And I will be also joining in the closed group, the closed community group, where you can ask questions. And of course, there are other people who can also help you. So it's a community. Is this a course? No, this is not a course. This is a program to really get action. It's implementation. It's not only information, but from day one, we will start using the information. It's about use the information to help the Caribbean islands. Do I get the models? Yes, you will get the models. You will get the 9 models. So for that only, it is worth it. So let me go now to what I taught. Because it is the Corona crisis, because it is, I understand people, that's why I have offered here a payment plan. So the payment plan works like this. You can click on this link, and once you click on this link, you will be paying 3 times. The first time you pay only $397. So you pay $397 today to start. And then after 18 days, which is almost like one cycle for the salary, you get cycle in, then you pay another $397, and after 18 days, again, you pay $397. Now you will pay in total, you will pay let me see here, 191, but that is because when you pay more times, there is more transactions, and then it costs more. And also, I think it's fair that the people who pay only once, like $997, is a little bit more beneficial than the people who have a payment plan. So that's a payment plan. So you can pay today either going to Kalmera.net/Caribbean-strategic-board-room. You will get the offer of $997, or you can put boardroom 2020 8 weeks payment plan 3 times $397. I mean, that's, you have to get a screenshot and type this into your web browser, and you will be paying $194 more, but it's a payment plan. So that's my last way of helping you invest in this program. So that's it. So I will be telling you right now how to connect with me. That's always good to connect with me. So here it is. Hey, stay connected with me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. So that was it. I'm very happy for you. I'm very happy. 42 minutes. I'm waiting for you. There are only a couple of hours left. Then the doors will close. So this was Rooney Kalmera. I invite you to join Caribbean Strategic Boardroom. It's going to be awesome, and I will see you inside. And it's going to awesome. It's going to be a wonderful experience for people in the Caribbean who want to transform the Caribbean, who want to transform the Caribbean economies. And remember, there is a global depression going on. We have not felt it, but this Corona crisis is only the pin that's going to bust the bubble of financial money creation, etc. If you want to know more about that, if you want to know how that's going to affect the Caribbean island you're living on, if you want to know how it's going to affect your wealth, your investments, if you want to know how it's going to affect the main countries where your tourists come from, where your stayover and cruise tourists come from, where you are trading with United States, Europe, maybe the Netherlands, Germany, China, North America. If you want to know how those things play together in a quantitative way, then this is it. This is the Caribbean Strategic Boardroom, and this is especially for the small islands in the Caribbean. And as you know, I will be creating a macroeconomic model for China. During the 8 weeks, I will be creating a macroeconomic model for the whole Caribbean in the 8 weeks. We will be discussing strategic topics in the 8 weeks. It's going to be awesome. It's an experience that you can create. I'm looking for you. I'm looking for you. And I'm looking for you. So you're listening. Take action. Take action. The time is ticking. Take action. And during the next 8 weeks, I want to be in your home and I want to help you and I want to make you accountable and I want to show you everything how you can transform your island, how you can take your island to the next level. This is a unique opportunity. Hope to see you inside. This is it. Ronnie Calmera. Bye.